Alexander here from mynexttablet.com. Today with an unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2017. Alright, let's start with the unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2017. It's available in a couple of countries already, but not in the United States or Europe yet, but I'm sure it will be. Right now you can get it in India, Vietnam, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, and probably in a couple of other Asian countries. Weirdly not in South Korea yet, but I'm kind of sure that it will be available in most countries by the end of the year or beginning of next year. Alright, this is an 8-inch tablet that is actually very similar to the Lenovo Tab 4.8 and Huawei MediaPad T3.8, and yeah, we will take a closer look at it now. It's 8 inches. Depending on the country, it costs between 220 or 250 euros. That's around 260 to 290 US dollars, or the currency you're living in. So that's a rough price for the LTE version. And yeah, what's inside? We've got some manual stuff, warranty stuff here. Then we've got a SIM eject tool on the bottom. Then we have a standard power plug here, and then a USB Type A to USB Type C cable here. So it's one of the few relatively cheaper tablets with a USB Type C port. Right, let's put this to the side and let's take a look at the tablet itself, which I have here. So let's get rid of this plastic stuff here. As I said, it's very similar to the Lenovo Tab 4.8, which I reviewed already. You can check the review on this channel, and very similar to the Huawei MediaPad T3.8. All of those three tablets, including this one, are 8-inch devices with a resolution of 1280 by 800, and they all feature the Qualcomm Snapdragon 425 chipset together with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage. Those specs are similar or identical on all those three tablets. Alright, this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2017 now, and we can see that there's a speaker on the top. We've got the Samsung logo, a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. On the bottom, there's a home button, and the multitasking button here, recent apps button, and the back button. If we go to the back, there's an 8-megapixel camera with an LED flashlight, and we actually have, it seems to be a metal back here. Only the back plate is metal, though the frame around it seems to be plastic, so yeah, it doesn't feel as high-end as the full metal tablet like the Xiaomi Mi Pad 3, for example, or the iPad Mini. It feels, yeah, I would say the build quality feels similar to the Lenovo Tab 4.8, which has a full plastic body, a pretty well-made plastic body, but since we are not having a full metal body here, only the back plate is metal, it feels like kind of similar. It doesn't feel super cheap, but not high-end at all either, but that's to be expected at this price. This is a smaller version of the Galaxy Tab A 10.1 and not a smaller version of the Galaxy Tab S3. As I said, on the back there's an 8-megapixel camera, LED flashlight, then on the side we've got a normal power button and a volume rocker. On the bottom we've got the USB Type C port, a microphone, and a single speaker. And then here we've got the SIM card slot and the micro SD card slot. The storage is expandable. As I said, the internal storage has a capacity of 16 GB. Alright, that's the hardware. Let's turn it on. Alright, I'm back. I connected the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2017 to my Wi-Fi, Google account, and Samsung account, and now we can take a closer look at the software. Before we do that, I forgot to mention something. Obviously, there is a standard audio jack here on the top, so you can plug in your standard headphones and so on. Alright, let's take a look at the software. On here runs Android 7.1.1 Nougat, so it's fairly recent, and it's probably the most recent Android tablet from Samsung. The Galaxy Tab S3 was released to this Android 7.0. This is Android 7.1.1, and we see that over here. And on top of it runs the Samsung Experience version 8.5. That's the previously known TouchWiz interface from Samsung, and that customizes Android quite heavily. For example, we don't have this app drawer here anymore. Instead, you just swipe up to see an overview over your installed apps. There are a couple of other customizations. First of all, we've got a lot of apps from Samsung pre-installed, like a Files app here, phone apps. This is an LTE tablet, so you can make phone calls with it. You can also send text messages. They've got their own browser. There's a kids mode pre-installed, own email client, and then we've got a couple of apps from Microsoft pre-installed, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Skype, OneNote, and OneDrive. And that's pretty much it. There's a calculator, my Samsung Notes. That's like the Notes apps from Samsung. This does not work with the S Pen from the Galaxy Tab S3 or Galaxy Tab A 10.1 with S Pen. So you can use a capacitive stylus, but that won't be as precise as the S pen is or other active pens. There's another feature that's installed here, and as you might remember from previous tablets from Samsung, if you swipe to this side, usually there has been Flipbook, but that's replaced now with Bixby. That's a kind of assistant from Samsung. You can use it if you want, but the good thing is, let's press here, the good thing is that you can just hide it, and then you don't have to deal with Bixby if you don't want to use it. I made a screenshot before I installed any games or any other apps, and there were 6.4 gigabytes used by the system and 9.6 gigabytes free for you to use by yourself. So that's quite decent. Obviously, those 9.6 gigabytes won't last you forever if you are planning to install a lot of games, but you can install a couple of games, and then there's a micro SD card slot to expand the storage if you like. Alright, let's just open a couple of apps, maybe the Chrome browser here, and the performance when surfing the web should be totally fine, like nothing special, but it should be decent even if you've got, like me here, a couple of tabs open. Oh, this is actually not, it wasn't loaded yet. As I said, the performance should be decent for browsing the web, and that's what the Snapdragon 425 is usually capable of. The same goes for YouTube, and just working in Microsoft Word or something, the performance should be fine for that. That is not the case for some games though. I already installed Mortal Kombat 5 and tried to play it, and the results are very similar to the Lenovo Tab 4.8 and Huawei MediaTek T310, which I both reviewed and which both have almost identical hardware. And as with those two tablets, it's not really playable. You can install it, you can start it, maybe you can even play a bit if you're very patient, but it's kind of very laggy during action sequences. At the beginning, as you can see here, it works totally fine, but then we get to a bit more action-heavy scene, and then you will see that it gets quite laggy. And you can see here the frames drop pretty fast, and it's not possible anymore to aim and shoot fluently. There are always like parts of the game where you think, oh, everything looks smoothly. Like here right now, I can look around smoothly and walk smoothly, but then there will be a point where there are a lot of enemies, you have to shoot them, and you can't because it just gets too laggy. So Mortal Kombat 5 is not really playable, but that does not go for Asphalt Extreme. Asphalt Extreme is pretty good in just adjusting the graphics to the hardware, and it's playable on very low-end devices because the graphics are just turned down, and you will see here now that the graphics are not as nice as on a higher-end tablet. Nothing compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3, for example, but it's certainly playable. The graphics just don't look as nice, but you will be able to play it quite smoothly. What you will see now, though, is that the loading times are not super fast. They're not too bad either. But it takes a while until a level here or a racetrack is loaded. But then, once we've waited a bit, we should be able to play it quite decently. And there we go. By the way, the speakers are surprisingly loud, but as you might expect at this price and from such small speakers in such small device, they are not like the best speakers. There's no real bass there. They're fine for watching some YouTube maybe, but certainly not the best sound. If you want to have a nice sound, then it's kind of hard to find a cheap tablet with very good sound. Maybe the iPad mini, but then you have to spend a lot more money. But as I said, they're certainly loud enough, but not the best quality. Alright, as you can see here, Asphalt Extreme is totally playable. You might see some minor lags, and if you do, you could turn down the graphics a bit, but otherwise, I think it's certainly playable much better than Mortal Kombat 5. Other games like Rayman Adventures should be playable too. I reviewed the Lenovo Tab 4.8 and I was able to play even Dead Trigger 2, and I expect that to be the case with the Galaxy Tab A 8.0 here as well. Alright, that's about the performance. What else I have to say about it? The screen is actually can be quite bright. I turned it down quite heavily here. Otherwise, the screen is totally fine. Obviously, we don't have the highest pixel density here. It's a 1280 by 800 screen, but since it's only 8 inches, the pixel density is pretty similar to a 10-inch tablet with a Full HD screen, and that's totally usable. Obviously, if you look very closely, you will be able to see some pixels, but it's not too bad. It's not as good as an iPad mini display or as the one of the Huawei MediaTek M3, but those are more expensive. And compared to that, I think that's fine. Alright, now I will start my review and do a more detailed gaming test, benchmarks, battery test, and so on. If you are keen to buy it right now, just check out my Lenovo Tab 4.8 review. I expect that the results will be very similar. if you can get the Huawei MediaPad T38 or Lenovo Tab 4.8, just compare the prices, what's cheaper. They're very similar, as I mentioned. There might be one advantage to Samsung, though. The Galaxy Tab A 9.7 got 2 major software updates, and the Galaxy Tab A 10.1 did get 1 major update until now. So it might be that the Galaxy Tab A 8.1, 8.0 here will get Android Oreo in the future. That's certainly not for sure, but in the past, Samsung has been noticeably better with updates than Huawei or Lenovo with their tablets. So I'm hoping that the Galaxy Tab A here will get Oreo in the future.